Breakfast. Hope everyone had breakfast. Yes. Anybody without breakfast? Okay, great.
What about you, ma'am?
Yeah, I had, sir. Thank you so much. So I'll not bore you and I'll not take too much time. I'll just connect with you regarding daily activities, how we are connected with this environment and climate. So generally, I know I'm here to talk about connecting daily activities, what we do in our daily life to the various aspects of the environment and climate, and presenting the fundamentals of environment, climate, and climate change. I'll just try to reach out with all these things. Okay, my opening thoughts, this is my opinion that climate change is the most severe problem that we are facing nowadays, and more serious than the threat of terrorism. Then a nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. Then forests are the lungs of our land, purifying the air and giving fresh strength to all the living beings. So let us protect our earth. And slogan for climate change, you can keep in your mind that save earth today to survive tomorrow. Everybody has to go through this particular slogan of save earth today to survive tomorrow, because we need to get ready for our future generation also, not only for our sake, we should not live here. Then in this session, the main objective is to facilitate the participants to understand the basic aspects of environment and climate. Almost all you are aware about this environment and climate, so a little bit information I'm going to put and I'm going to explore. And also today's objective is to relate the training program topics to their daily activities. In our daily activities, there are so many carbon footprints and this water footprint, so many other things will be happening. So let us go through those particular things. So I hope everyone had breakfast, already said as even I had. So here what you can see, typical South Indian breakfast you can see here. Most everywhere where we go, we prefer this one. Our stomach also will be very safe when you eat this particular idli, right? So idli, what are the ingredients for this idli? Rice. Then this vada? Okay, thank you. So usually what happens, we'll have breakfast. Usually their origin of the source, usually we won't be having that particular knowledge. Even if we ask our child or kids also, because we are not so many things, so that happens. They eat idli, but they do not know actually we prepared that from the rice. So we have to give that particular knowledge also. Then here, can you recognize here the crop? Very good, right? Paddy. Next one. Great, ma'am. Really, they are giving good answer. Really great. Because so many things this time it happened that we know the what kind of cereals and everything, the pulses and other things. But usually we cannot recognize when we go through that particular plants. So we need to show to our kids and young generation that wherever any kind of Krishi Mela or any kind of agriculture Mela, right? We need to take those to take our use to them. Whereas here, can you recognize which crop is this? See, I'm connecting with the daily life. You have seen all these things, right? Same thing, the title. So, right, this is the tomato crop, right? The next one? Cucumber. And here? Great answer. Thank you so much. So, if we recognize and if we made our use also to recognize all these things, at least they'll be able to connect with our day-to-day life environment. Yeah, great. Thank you so much. This is carrot. And here in this picture representation, you can see the average requirement of different food products. In our day-to-day life, what are the different food products and processing we are going through? No, there are different particular food which consume so much water for the processing everything. Okay, for example, when you go through in this particular thing where meat, the non-veg item or product which is consuming more water when compared with the vegetables, is just an average information study report which was given where average for water requirement in food different products, you can see here more amount of the water is consumed during the process of bovine or maybe a non-veg items. Okay, then here your water footprint. So for example, sir said that I do not know about what is water footprint or carbon footprint. Carbon footprint, water footprint andre, in our day-to-day life, how much water we are consuming, we are not estimating that one. Clear? We are consuming from since morning, from get up and up to night, right? how much water we have consumed for the whole day, we have not estimated. So there are so many surveys and questionnaires will be there. Through that one can check that how much water in a day single person is consuming and how much water we are utilizing for our daily activities. By keeping that in mind, this is given, that is water footprint. Here is much longer than you think. The amount of water you consume depends not just on the duration of your daily shower, right, or the number of clothes you wash, but also depends on what you eat. We eat means there are so many water we have used for the processing, to wash utensils and the vegetables and the meat, whatever you'll be using to clean kitchen, we are consuming so much of water. That is nothing but water footprint. Carbon emission footprint, in a day what kind of we are using the sources from that carbon, how much carbon emission, so many times it will be emitting. So that is nothing but carbon footprint. So here in this case, not only in drinking, in other purpose also we are using this particular water. Clothes you wear and fuel you use, etc. Where what we are, how much water we are using, no, that matters here. So in general, here average daily water footprint of diet, for example, vegetarian will be very less, whereas non-vegetarian consumes more water. I showed that one study report. Then another one here, carbon footprint. Here carbon footprint, that is the total amount of greenhouse gases generated by our actions, okay? By our actions, that may be during when we travel, okay, when during the transport condition, or whatever the at home, whatever the different kind of electronic instruments will be there, right? Resource consumption like electricity, water, etc. Then food preferences and even the pets, and further your local and outside travel and your goods and services. And you'll be doing this particular carbon footprint survey very shortly. They have done already? Okay, you have done already?
It's already
Okay, yeah, so you have already estimated that how much amount of carbon footprint which will be utilized, done by one particular individual. Then changes in the climate pattern when we go through, but over a few decades we see shift in the weather pattern. Go through this sentence. Over a few decades we see shift in the weather pattern. Okay, so now did anyone notice anything wrong in this particular sentence? I use the sentence here. Over a few decades, we see shift in the weather pattern.
It has to be a climate pattern.
Very good. Thank you so much, sir. Great answer. So here, so I use the sentence here. Over a few decades, we see shift in the weather pattern. So now, did anyone notice anything wrong in this sentence? Sir said very great answer. That is climate. It means whether. I just wanted to ask that whether the right word is to be used or is it a climate? It means I'm asking in this, when we use the word few decades, that there we need to use the terminology climate. This particular weather is only a short period of time, very small thing, okay? So let us understand little bit information, not in detail, little bit information about what do you mean by this weather and the climate. Okay, so let us go through this particular climate and weather, because the climate and weather are not the same thing. Okay, they are totally differ in their particular characteristics. Whereas here, weather is short term. Okay, every time even you and even other teachers automatically they'll say the climate is not good, climate is not good, like that say. We should not suppose to use the climate, because climate is used for the decades, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years study report that is going to give the climate. So weather is here, which is a short term, which is limited area, and that can change rapidly. Beligge ontara irutte, illa evening ontara irutte, ratri ontara agutte. So we can say there actually that is a weather, and that can change rapidly. Okay, that we can say that as a weather. And this is difficult to predict. Weather is very difficult to predict, like human being feelings. Beligge kelusari maneli agtadalla at home. Morning will be some feelings, and evening some everything is fine, you'll be fine. Like that weather also, weather will be changing. And here, weather is what's happening outside your window right now. That is weather. Okay, that is a short period of time. Okay, then to conclude here, weather is the state of the atmosphere at a particular place during a short period of time. So we can say that as a weather. That may be partly cloudy, or maybe snow, rain, a chance of rain, or maybe very cold, okay, very hot, like that. So that is nothing but the weather. Next, when we go through here the climate, as I told here, climate is defined as an area's long-term weather pattern. Long-term weather pattern, I told you, right, that may be for 10 years, 20 years, or maybe study report of 30 years, we can say that as a climate. The simplest way to describe climate is to look at average temperature and precipitation over a decade. There, with that time, we can use the terminology as climate. So, to conclude here, the climate is the average of many years of weather observation. So, in general, you can keep in your mind, climate is long term, then wide area, okay? Then seasonal changes can be observed over there, measured over long span of time, that may be decades, okay? Then these are some of the picture representation, you can go over there about the climate. Now let us understand here the differences between the weather and the climate. Here this is weather versus climate. Weather is, as we already know, that short-term state of the atmosphere can change within minutes or maybe hours. That is nothing but the weather. They usually will take, right, weather report. The next one is climate, which is a long-term pattern of weather, right? That is the average weather over a years in one specific place. That can be known as a climate. Then when we go through here, the climate change. As climate always been changing, right? And this is a natural process, and that could be due to various geological and astrological, biological, then geomagnetic and cosmic factor. So why is it so concerned us now about this particular climate change?
Because it is going to affect each one.
Very great, thank you. So it is because we are focusing, we is doing in association, UNICEF, all because this climate and climate is even disturbing us also, individual also, so we need to focus on all this, we need to, one has to think about all these things, right? We are going for all this, that's why you are here. Then further climate change, when you take in the global scenario, we have seen that global average temperature raised around 0.6 to 0.9 degrees Celsius between 96 to 2005. Air temperature in the Arctic have raised by as much as 2 to 3 degrees Celsius, and in some parts even the Russia winters have become colder by about 9 degrees Celsius colder than the average. Then since 1901, global precipitation has increased at an average rate of 0.10 inches by decade. So this is with the climate change at the global scenario. When we go through here with the Indian scenario, India has also witnessed insignificant warming, as we all know that. Average temperature has raised by 0.7 degrees Celsius during 1901 to 2018. And also, India has, however, seen a decreasing trend in the annual mean rainfall falling between 1951 to 2050, notably over the Indo-Gangetic plains and the Western Ghats. But the frequency of this particular localized heavy rain occurs over India has increased during the same period of time as per study scenario. Then, climate change, when you take here the Karnataka scenario, warming trend has been observed for the period June to September in northern interior of Karnataka. Both minimum and maximum temperature was found to have risen up to 0.4 degrees Celsius as per climate report over the last 100 years. Okay, this report of 100 years. Then rainfall during the southwest monsoon has shown a decline in trend by 10% over the last 100 years. This is the climate change related with the Karnataka scenario. Next, and this is the survey report on observed climate and predicted climate graphical representation given by Indian Institute of Science, where model-based time series of temperature and precipitation has given Karnataka from 1868, which is taken from 1961 to 1990, and from 1861 to 2099, and this is the observed climate trend, and this is the precipitation change since 1961. Okay, here we focus on this particular RCP, that is representative concentration pathway, which is the greenhouse gas concentration adopted by IPCC, that is nothing but Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. They have given this particular observed climate trend and also that particular predicted one based on this particular greenhouse gases emitted years to come. This is just a predicted one. Next one, this is again the observed climate trend. Here in temperature trends over the last century suggest that Karnataka has warmed about 0.4 degree Celsius. Then rainfall trends over the last century decade and overall decrease in annual rainfall in Karnataka by 10% when we focus on that particular climate. The rainfall has declined significantly in the northern districts of Bidar, Bijapur, Gulbarga, Yadgir and coastal districts as per study report. And here you can see the climate change projections related with the Karnataka scenario. If there is a moderate amount of if there is amount of moderate amount of carbon emission, then there won't be any kind of such problem. If there is a high emission of the carbon, that side one diagrammatic representation of Karnataka. High emissions mean there may be a chances of more amount of the annual temperature in that particular scenario. And when you go through here, in this projected annual temperature change, okay, relative to the pre-industrial period of time as per RCP, in some of the cases you can, some of the districts you will be able to observe the high rate of temperature. And here same thing, rainfall, if the moderate amount of emissions of the carbon, if the moderate amount emissions of carbon, only these areas will be affected, whereas high emissions of carbon rate happens within Karnataka, some of the districts will get affected with the rainfall on different range. And same thing here again, moderate emission will be affected only few areas, whereas high emissions means all these districts will be affected with particular rainfall by the time. And we all know that because of this climate change, flooding caused due to this high intensity localized rain, which occurrences of such high intensity rains have increased nowadays, and we also see that particular impact. And also when we go through this particular long period of time, failing timely monsoon have massive hit to our farmers, and also which are damaged particular crops in excess with the excessive rainfall. And further, so what causing all these things means there are two major drivers which are responsible for cause of only. We can't blame always the climate as the one which is dealing with all these things. There are two major drivers. That may be the first one, land and change, right? So land and change, here we can think about the anthropogenic, right? Manavajanyan activity, Manusha and Marthal activities, that also matters here for all these particular causes. Okay, then even encroachment. Okay, encroachment is also play a very important role in all these particular issues. So we need to focus on all these things and need to overcome from that one. And another one, increased greenhouse gas concentration. So these are the two major factors which are responsible for all these particular causes. We need to, nowadays all the youth and everybody has to focus on all these things about these two major things. Then we go through the land use trends in Karnataka. We can see there are so many reports have been given that maybe in land use trends. Maybe you can take here the forest, okay, then area under non-agricultural users, okay, then unculturable land, then culturable waste land, then grazing lands, okay, then land under tree crops, okay, then current follows, then here follow plants other than the current follows, then here net area. So okay, so all these some of the factors which comes under land use trends. We need to focus on all these things to overcome from so many things. Okay, next one, when we go through here, greenhouse gases, in short we can say GHG. This greenhouse gases also known as heat trapping gases, right? Heat trapping gases, you are already aware of it, that I'm not going in detail. Very basic terminologies I'm using and I'm interacting with you. Many greenhouse gases, okay, occur naturally in the atmosphere, such as carbon dioxide. We know well versed with the carbon dioxide, right? Carbon dioxide, methane, water vapor and nitrous oxide is a major cause of our particular greenhouse gases. And also other synthetic gases also include in this GHG is chlorofluorocarbons. In short we can say CFCs. Then hydrofluorocarbons, in short we can say HFCs. Then perfluorocarbons, that is PFCs. Then sulfur hexafluoride 6. So all these chemicals which are responsible for the greenhouse gases, and these directly or indirectly we are responsible for all these particular greenhouse gases. Let us go through that one. Okay. Further, emissions of these gases into the atmosphere can be due to the natural activities or due to atmospheric drivers. Okay, other than anthropogenic, even anthropogenic drivers. Anthropogenic drivers, that is nothing but we ourselves. So anthropogenic drivers of climate change maybe combustion of fossil fuels, coal, then natural gas and petroleum products. Even deforestation also comes here. Then major leakage of methane gas from pipelines. Then agriculture activities, what we are using the chemical fertilizers and pesticides, all that also reflect in these particular greenhouse gases. Then further, increased carbon dioxide concentration from human activities get a lot of attention in this particular greenhouse gas, so we need to focus on that also. While methane and nitrous oxide concentrations remain much smaller than the concentration of the carbon dioxide, each molecule of it is actually more efficient at absorbing and emitting infrared radiations to this as a carbon dioxide. Most of the time we say that we are not a part of greenhouse effect. We are part of the greenhouse effect. We need to understand, we need to overcome from all the things, we need to minimize that one. A single nitrous oxide molecule which has 260 to 265 times the global warming potential of a carbon dioxide molecule. Okay, each methane molecule has 28 times the global warming potential of a carbon dioxide molecule. So while their concentrations are extremely small, and we can't ignore other greenhouse gases due to their particular characteristics, we need to focus on almost all the particular chemicals. So now when we go through the global warming, here increased concentration of greenhouse gases. You already know that what are the chemicals which are gases responsible for the greenhouse gases. So increased concentration of greenhouse gases gradually results in a stronger greenhouse effect, right? And this causes the planet to warm, additionally resulting in global warming, and we need to focus on that one. So in general, what we can say, the greenhouse gas content of the atmosphere is being altered by human activity. Okay, from nature also will be there, but human activity which is imparting too much participation in the greenhouse effect. The result of this change is which is imparting the global warming. Then when you take here present environmental issues like global warming, then ozone layer depletion, deforestation, then water pollution, air pollution, solid waste management, and over pollution, we need to focus on all these things to overcome from this one. Then when you go to the deforestation, here deforestation is the permanent removal of trees to make so other buildings for something beside forest, right? This can include clearing the land for agriculture or grazing or using the timber for fuel construction or manufacturing. So nowadays we can see all these things too much. So if this way, if we do this for very limited way, so that we can will be a plus point. Otherwise, what happened? Deforestation, which is going to impact us in a very greater rate. Then next one is air pollution. Okay, air pollution, which is caused by the fertilizer use. What kind of chemical fertilizers we are using, and we are not preparing our soil for the further future generation. We are spoiling totally our particular soil, so we need to focus on that one. And livestock production and certain industrial process that release fluorinated gases, again, which is a part of greenhouse effect. Then pollutants in the air can produce serious environmental issues and contribute to the climate change. As I told, climate change means that is for the decade. That here this air pollution is also responsible for the climate change. So we can make out here release of the carbon dioxide, methane, and CFCs, right? So all these are part of your greenhouse effect. Then even mining also affect. Coal mining releases methane, potent greenhouse gas, whereas methane emissions from the coal mines has a global warming. So we need to focus on that one. Then even industrial process that is direct energy related with the carbon dioxide emissions for industry. So when you want to take a carbon footprint, means each industry how much amount of carbon is emitting to the environment, one can go for the carbon footprint, that particular data. Individually and also other industrial wise and collective also one can check related with the carbon footprint. So here indirect carbon dioxide emissions from production of electricity and heat for industry, one has to go to that one, and one has to give that particular average amount, that only this much you can focus on, that rest you need to avoid. So then consequences of climate change, you can see here sea level change can be observed, right? That leads to again climate change for when we take the report of 10 years, then sea ice, heavy rainfall across the globe, then extreme drought, decline in the crop productivity, then changes in the ecosystem and raise in temperature. All these which is going, all these changes can be observed over the short period of time. So to conclude here, a number of greenhouse gases occur naturally in the Earth's atmosphere, right? As we already discussed, all these also play a very important role in the GHG, that greenhouse gas. So water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Already I discussed that one, methane, right? So here methane is released by coal mining, as I told, then even the landfill also, it is releasing the methane, and even by agriculture, by using chemical fertilizers, then particularly though the digestive process of beef and milk cows, even the ducti also, which is releasing that particular methane, then even the nitrous oxide, which is a part of GHG, when nitrous oxide is produced by cars, by fossil fuels, used for heat and electricity, and by agriculture. So there are evidences of climate change comes from many different sources, not only one particular sources. So anthropological activity also play a very important role, and one has to check, that's why how much amount of carbon footprint I'm giving to the environment, what is my water footprint. So in a whole day, how much amount of water you are consuming, or maybe you are utilizing. Everyone has to think about that one. Sometimes youths are maybe at school or maybe a college or maybe any office, they'll be without knowing, just they'll keep the tap on and they'll go, okay. And even in the day, for washing the car, they'll be just pouring the water, though it is totally clean, still they'll be clean. So there must be some minimum amount of water to be used. So when we have the knowledge of carbon footprint, water footprint, then we can go through all these things, and we can protect our what all these sources for our future generation, okay. Then even you can consider that all these impacting even animal and plant life is also changing because of our all these particular anthropogenic activities. Then have you seen this bird earlier? Nowadays have you seen anywhere?
Yes.
But very rare, right? Yeah, even have seen in near Bangalore, Rajanagar, somewhere, but not very frequently. But when we were kids earlier, we used to see all these particular, but nowadays already it's not there only, right? Even it means even this whatever the climate change, which is also affecting the both animals and birds, everything it is affecting. So we need to think about that one. So impacts of, when you go through here, impacts of climate change. Changes in temperature and precipitation can disturb a wide range of natural processes. Particularly, these changes occur more quickly than a plant and animal species can adopt. So, what are the effects of changing climate? Anta helak hodaga, these are some of the effects of climate change. Right? This can both slow onset or maybe a sudden onset. Okay, climate change maybe for the slowly, gradually that may happen, or suddenly the climate change can also be observed. But study report will be for 10 years. Okay, slow onset events include changing temperature and rainfall pattern. Okay, then rise in sea levels, then ocean acidification and salination, then loss of biodiversity, and also desertification. All these matters. So in general, we can see here climate is also affected by many factors. I have listed out some of the factors here. You can have a look over there. Then it can be both slow. So whereas here sudden onset means extreme weather events. This is sudden onset such as heat waves, then tropical cyclones, droughts and floods. These sudden onsets of events contribute to physical damage, driving people out from their homes, lands, forests, water. So all these which comes under the sudden onset. Then climate change has the potential to disrupt natural resources system, right? Affecting populations that rely directly on their ecosystems. That on their ecosystem means where they are surviving, right, for their survival. Farmers, maybe a fisher folk, then Adivasi communities, there also all these things which affects a lot. The inability of these groups to effectively adopt or migrate the effects of climate change makes them more vulnerable in this particular case. Then whereas here when you go through here the India's commitment as a commitment towards implementing Paris Agreement, where they have given that 33 to 35% of reduction in emissions intensity by 2030 from 2005 levels. One has to think about that. Then 40% of all electricity to be generated from non-fossil fuels by 2030. Then the tree plantation program that can remove 2.5 to 3 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent to GHG from the atmosphere. That's why as a written, whatever the content written here, there are multidisciplinary participants even from the NSS, YRC. That's why in each and every college there will be a tie-up with the NGOs or maybe NSS, YRC. They are focusing on these things, this seed sowing activity or maybe this particular tree plantation, right? So many activities will be going on there. So everybody has to encourage all such things. Then now let us go to what can be done. What are the things we can probably do from our side, how we can contribute ourselves to our particular nature where we are surviving. This is just my suggestion, and please go through this one. First, we must admit that climate change is everyone's problem. Whatever the problem which is happening in the society, everybody has to accept. Then we need to go on and move on. We need to think about that particular thing, right? Change is everyone's problem. No agency, government, or scientist can fix it for us. We are all in this together. We need to go in hand in hand. We need to work on that. And we got here because of our lifestyle. So our lifestyle has to change, and here is what we can do. Okay, this is my suggestion that what we can do. You can put your thoughts over there. Then conserve in the car, right? Here can conserve in the car, plan ahead, do several errands in the single trip, walk or bike. Okay, and it's healthier than anyway. And even in some of the training, some told that yum. That is yum. I just forgot that one. Do you remember? That is bus. Okay, BMW. Yeah, BMW. Can you guess what you know BMW? Just one of the participants suggested BMW. B means bus, public transport. That bus. Then M is metro. Bicycle. B bicycle. So Bangalore we can use metro, then public bus transportation we can use that one, then bicycle. So if possible, W walk, yeah, W walk. W walk. So if possible in your office or maybe in your college institution, one day you can tell them that come by walk. Otherwise they'll tell walk is, I don't know, if they are very near, very near means kilometer. Within 5 kilometers, 3 kilometers means you can do this one. You can take that also as one of the suggestion if possible. Or else what you can do, listen. Or else what you can do, if you are going anywhere, you can park your car 2 kilometers ahead, come by walk. Otherwise, at least in a week, you please try this one. Okay, it will be funny also, and you'll be very healthy. You can try that one. Even most of the people, including me also, most of people won't be knowing the public transport you have never used. But nowadays, from past 15 days, I'm using that one. Please, if possible, you also try once, and you can suggest to your youth. They are youngsters; they can walk. Okay, for 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, they can walk. It's not like that they can't walk. Or at least in a week, you can go for marathon like that. All those you can try. Related with this one, right? So here, clean out the junk in the trunk. Lighter cars get better mileage. Okay, if there has any kind of issues, I don't know, but I feel that lighter cars get better mileage. Make sure your engine is properly tuned. Keep your tires properly inflated. Carpool or ride the school bus. Support public transportation. Consider a smaller car or a hybrid for your next vehicle. What other ways can you else use less gas? Okay, please think about that. If possible, directly that's not going to happen, but for your use or maybe your kids or your fellow mates, you can just suggest them all these things. Okay, it's not like that you need to do. It is just my suggestion that you can focus on that. Then conserve hot water. Okay, whereas here in the average home, 70% of energy is used to heat water, right? Then here take shorter showers. Sometimes you have seen, I think at home, small kids or maybe some people or maybe late whatever come, they don't have the knowledge of how much amount of water to be consumed. And kids also, they won't be having that knowledge, so one has to give that particular awareness. Install low flow shower heads. Install a blanket on your hot water heater. Then insulate hot water pipes. Wash laundry in cold water. Only run the dishwasher if it's full. Fix leaky holes. Okay, so all these you can focus small things. When we focus, we can focus on the big thing. That is my just a suggestion. Then you can also go for conserving the electricity. Okay, unplug chargers for cell phones and other appliances when not in use. Most of the time when we are in hurry, just will on and we'll come back, no? So that we can avoid all these things. So this is nothing but some of the suggestions and tips from my side, that conserve electricity and make your next computer, laptop. Then install timers or motion sensors on outdoor lights. So one has to think about all these things. If you won't think, then who is going to think about all these things? For younger generation, use we the one, we need to pass great message so that to understand. Then this is about the reduce waste. This is very important, right? In every day, there are so many solid waste we are generating unknowingly. So we need to focus on all these particular reducing the waste. Recycle and buy recycled products. Choose products that have less packaging, reuse, repair, or donate. All these things we need to, rest of the points we need to keep that in mind. So to go through this particular reduce waste. So one has to think about all these things. So this is my closing thought, that there is no place like home, and there may be never be again. So everybody are a part, and everybody accept this particular problem, and in hand we should go together. This is our planet, our future. Let's together we can do so much changes in our day-to-day life. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Thank you everyone for your patience. Thank you. There is a small activity. Okay, look at the picture on the screen. Please go through that. May I have lights on? Look at the picture on the screen. Okay, I hope everybody have a pen and paper, right? Please draw same thing in your paper. Put 9 dots. Okay, you have here 9 dots. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So total 9 dots. If anybody know about this one, please do not reveal or disclose. Okay, so draw the same thing in your paper. Put 9 dots. Put 9 dots. If any questions, I'll take later. If we have any kind of discussion, we can go through. Do you want me to give any kind of time for the discussion or any Q&A? Maunam Sammati Lakshanam anta helbeka. Okay, fine. Yeah. So 9 dots are ready. Are you ready? 9 dots are ready? Everybody 9 dots are ready? Okay, fine. Great. Now, all these 9 dots, you need to connect by 4 lines without lifting your hand. Yeah, I'll repeat the instruction. All these 9 dots, you need to connect. Okay, you need to connect by 4 lines without lifting hand. Time starts now. May I have that board? Yeah, I'll come there. 4 lines without lifting hand. 1, 2. All 9 dots. I'll repeat instruction. Please listen. All 9 dots you need to connect by using only 4 lines. ಹೌದು ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್ 1, 2, 3, 4 all the 9 dot ಆ 9 ಡಾಟ್ಗಳು 4 ಲೈನಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಬಾರದು, ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಯು ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ವೈಲ್ ಡ್ರಾಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಲೈನ್. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡಿ ದೇವಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು. ಯು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್. Now please draw 9 dots like this. If anybody complete, please raise your hand. Done, sir? Ma'am, ದೊಡ್ಡ ಹಾಕಿ.
ಇದು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ.
Is anybody completed? Is anyone? Please try. Put effort. Give some work to yourself. Don't be quiet. I can't do like that. You can. You will.
Wait.
Please
I
try.
think it's like this. Wait. I think it goes like this. And
4
it goes
lines
like
without
this.
lifting your hand.
And it goes like this. And
Please
like,
try.
you can extend it till here. No, she didn't say any other. See, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Wait.
I know what you're doing. See, it's
And then
1, 2.
I'm just gonna Google like a Gen Z. I'm just gonna Google like a Gen Z and try to do it.
It's not.
Hey, wait.
2 is only 4 lines. It's not.
Thank you everyone. You please try. We have here Mr. Sumant, Dr. Sumant. Dr. Sumant from Mudu Bidri, he has already cleared that time only, so give him a big round of applause. So please do that on the board. Please come, sir. He's from Mudu Bidri.
Yeah.
Please have a look. Please have a look. 4 lines, only 4 lines will be there. So we can't see one, sir.
Out of the
Duster kodi ma'am ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ.
It's been nice, yeah.
they have to go out of the box and
Yeah, even this is also out of the box.
Others, please try in your notebook. Don't be quiet.
I too. Yeah, I
Yes,
too.
great.
It's not connected.
Boundary cross
Great. Yeah.
ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು
See, same thing.
ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ
Did you all understand this one?
Yes.
Okay, I'll show you once.
boundary cross ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು
See, that is think beyond. Why you are limited to the only certain area? Think beyond. We want everywhere unlimited food. Unlimited means everywhere unlimited, right? Think beyond. Think out of the box.
ಬೇಲಿ ಹಾರೋದು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ
No, sir, we have not put ಬೇಲಿ only. ನೀವು ಬೇಲಿನೇ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಯಾರು ಬೇಲಿ ಹಾರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. We have not told you to. ಬೇಲಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Very good. Thank you, sir. Okay, please, everybody, please, you can try with your student also.
Like this.
Okay, Lisa, everybody, please. Okay, please have a look. So you can try with your student. This is a. Pay attention, please. Thank you. This is an activity you can conduct to your students, your fellow mates, however you want. Because we need to think. Most of the time, what happens? We'll be roaming there only. We need to think. Come out of from that. When you come out of that, solution will be coming. When you roam there, even our family issues, problems also. When you be there, you won't be going for any kind of solution. Come out of the box. Okay, then you can think about the solution. So this is the first line. Can go like this. See, we were actually roaming here only. So I did not lift my hand. So here like this. Go for.
Down. And
Okay, think out of the box. Then.
second dot. Second dot.
ಫಸ್ಟ್
ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ
Yeah, same thing.
ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಬೇಕು ಬಿಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಒನ್ ವೇ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಅಡ್ಡಾಡ್ದಾಗ
Listen. From this dot, I have come out. Then you please go here. Okay. Then go out of the box. Move out. Line barbecue. Go out. Then connect here. Okay. This is third line, and this is fourth line. Okay. This is the one. Okay. Then from here, this is 2. Okay. Then here, this is 3. And then here, this is 4. So 4 lines without lifting the hand, we are connected all these dots. See, you're also dot. You have come from so many other places. At here, we are connected with each other to do something related with our environment and climate change. Right? Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you so much.
Dr. Pratima, thank you. As an individual who had very limited